They landed or just flying around?
No, they're going to come in just a minute. So we're stuck over here for right now.
Not a bad place to be stuck.
It's not.
And if this job wasn't dangerous enough, they do it on an active runway.
That was a planned touch and go.
Oh, it was?
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you tell me that?
I just did.
Now it's back to Fuchsia.
All right, guys, we're back. I went ahead and started the first one just to make sure it would work when we start shooting the video. We'll go ahead. I just basically melted a little blob of solder onto the brass sheet, which was prepared and polished and cleaned up the night before. Otherwise, you don't get this smooth process going. It'll get clumpy with beads of solder that just come off with the finger, knocking them off like that. That won't come off. You got to prepare your brass. Just because you're soldering using the resistance soldering method does not mean you ignore and skip over the basic fundamentals of setting up your items to be soldered. Number one is your items must be clean. But we'll go ahead and we'll attach. Well, we won't do any attaching yet. We're going to put another blob of solder right here for our second component. So let's go ahead and do that. You know what I forgot to mention yesterday? I shot that video about doing the brakes on my truck and how my mechanic I had been going to for 20 plus years, me, my family, my girlfriend. Well, he's moved on, he's retired, his son took over the shop. They're just putting out crap. It's almost like they didn't go to automotive school. They kind of learn amongst each other's and pass along each other's bad habits. But what pissed me off about that, why I was using the F word a lot, and let me warn you right now, this is a cussing channel. I do cuss a lot because that's literally how I talk in my normal everyday life. My mom says, and my new girlfriend says, why do you always cuss so much? And I go, you know what it is what I got to do for a living, my job, the people I interview, there cannot be any doubt to what I'm instructing you to do, what needs to be done, what I'm asking you, what answer I need in response. When I talk that way, I get the responses, the conversation, anything I got to do, even if it's ordering ice cream, it gets done. If I do it any other way, try to be friendly or cool and stuff, then you get mash results. Now I can't do my job or do what I got to do. So yeah, it puts an emphasis, and it also lets you know, hey man, I'm not screwing around. Don't mess with me. We'll be cool, and I'll pay you your money in exchange for goods or services. Now this mechanic here, why I was cussing, this is the main part. The actual caliper. So I showed you the circlips, right? The little circlips or cotter pins type things he used to hold the two bolts that hold the pads inside the calipers in place. One of those fails, or you didn't put it on right, that entire whole bolt goes out. Now your pad's gonna be flopping around all over the place. And that's exactly what had happened with that brake job, only I didn't, just like the guy that died down the street, there was a whole thing. I shot that video about 3 times. You saw the final third version, which I kept, but the other 2 was more into detail, what was going on, the cop cars, the paramedics, all that good stuff. Also the explanation on those brake pads. This is what I'm getting at. The whole caliber is held over the disc with 2 bolts. Well, what this knucklehead did is he didn't tighten the bolts, or tighten them by hand just enough. Gave me my car with messed up rack and pinion, messed up brake pads, all that good stuff. I drove all the way down to Huntington Beach. It's about 8 miles due south here, 6 or 7 miles, something like that. Coming back, every time I hit the brakes or took off from a start, I started hearing like a bowling ball rattling around in one of my front wheels, the front passenger. And I go, well, that's odd. It got louder, it got worse. I could feel it through my steering wheel after a while. I pulled over, the whole caliper assembly had come off. Only thing holding it was one bolt on top and it was about to come off too. The other boat on the bottom was gone. Think about what I just said. You guys who are automotive guys know exactly what I'm talking about, and the horrendous disaster that would have resulted had that caliper come off completely. Even though it's encased in the wheel, all it has to do is just grab once, and it would have been a catastrophe. Yeah, that same exact brake job I showed you on the video is where he did that. I literally had picked it up the day before. So I tightened the top bolt. Could never find the bottom one. Obviously, it flew off on the road somewhere. But I tightened the top one just enough to limp me back home, which I drove probably half a mile per hour, another couple miles. I was pissed. And then I at the house, I tightened the top one with, so it wouldn't come off, but it was still just one bolt. And I drove over to him. He comes out, and I told him, hey, man, your thing came off. He goes, no, come on. He thinks I'm lying to him again. So I go, no, come here, bro. Now you know why I talk using cuss words. Because this guy, I was cool with these guys because I've known him and his father for years. I should have went in there cussing like I always do right off the bat. But when I told him and when he saw with his own eyes, they're Vietnamese guys. They're Asian, so they're brown skin like me. He literally turned white like a sheet, like a bed sheet. And he goes, and he started begging me, I'm so sorry. Please don't tell the boss. Oh my, I'll fix it. I'm so sorry. So that gives you the idea of the severity of what could have happened if he turned white as a sheet and started apologizing. So he fixed it. I'm like, it's cool. I'm not going to tell him. No, don't worry about it, man. I got it. We got it. Yeah, well, see, that's... And then I discovered he used cotter pins yesterday when we shot the video. So that's where that came from. I'm not an asshole all the time. I'm actually a pretty cool guy. Although I do talk kind of like one. Anyways, let's get back to this. Okay. Move the camera a little bit. So what we'll do is we will dab a bunch of flux. Keep in mind, after you're done soldering and you're going to call it a day, you got to take your model to the kitchen sink with some 409 and wash down all the areas you worked on, because acid or any type of soldering flux has acid in it, and you start creating a disaster. And if you paint over that, you create an even bigger disaster. All right, let's shoot some voltage through there.
There's several ways to get off an aircraft carrier, but really only one sensible way to end a show like this. Ted and I
See that? I didn't have to clamp anything to the model. The model sitting on the table, which is tabletop, half-inch aluminum plate, is electrified. It's that easy. Now, let's keep going. We're kind of on a roll here. Let's attach this first part here. Once again,
floating runway. It's their mobile home. For the next 6 months, they'll be out here. No drinking, no sex, no cell phones. Just work and service and commitment and courage. Where the Stennis goes next is anybody's guess. But one thing's for sure. The 5,200 men and women along for the ride all understand that somebody's got to do it. And this is the place where it gets done.
Yeah. It's shiny like a mirror. You can't tell because of the shadows and stuff. And it's hot like hell. So, using more flux once again. So I did some work for Jerry Snow. He traded me that awesome resistance soldering unit, and I've never looked back since. I've had it now for close to 30 years. Got my finger full of gunk, but oh, I will wipe it off on my shirt. So we're going to affix this to the back of that. We'll get it in the position we want it, and we'll hit it with some voltage. We'll cut the voltage. We'll keep the electrode on that just to hold it in place as it cools. And that will be lesson number 1 on how I use the resistance soldering unit. Okay. Now I already checked all my diagrams for references and stuff. That is the position that guy goes there on pretty much every locomotive, but in particular, I use my photographs of the Denver Rio Grande steam locomotive that Gary Schrader provided Bill Bowker, and I got here. I showed you guys that the other day. Let's go ahead and make this happen. My hand was in the way, right? Sorry about that. Here, I can do that again for us. It's on there. It ain't going nowhere. Okay. So that's step number 1. Let's go ahead and grab this guy right here since we have you guys on camera right now. So we're going to put a little bit of solder in back of our piece we're going to attach there. So the 2 solder pieces will melt together, mating the casting onto the brass sheet of our back head there. Use more solder. Flux. All right. You see the smoke coming off of that? That has a nice, healthy serving out of solder. We'll let it cool down a little bit. We'll attach it there. We'll hold it in place with the electrode. We'll do the exact same thing we did here. Hopefully on camera. Hey man, if my camera starts to wander off, you guys got to shout out, man. Speak up, man. I can't see that. If I don't hear you guys shout, I don't know what's going on, and you guys miss out on some good stuff. But you guys are actually pretty awesome. Getting back to Mike Rowe, what you guys are doing here on YouTube, what you guys are doing who shoot your own YouTube videos, I'm talking people like Dave Parsley and Robert over at BNR, and Craig at the Factory Rat, and just on and on and on, or people like Tom Klein who comes on our channels and gives us great advice. Michael Cook, the names go on and on and on and on. You guys are like the little Mike Rose. You guys are encouraging, or at least trying to encourage, America's youth to, hey man, put the joint down, put down the cell phone and the social media apps. Who gives a fuck what Lady Gaga's doing or whatever? And use your hands and start your own business. Start making money, man. There's nothing wrong with getting paid, in the 6-digit figures. But anyways, let's go ahead and attach this guy here. Yeah, but I like Mike Rose. So you guys are little Mike Rose. How about that? The mechanic now, my ex-mechanic, he's not a Mike Rowe. He's a Mike Knucklehead. Remember, the camera wanders. You guys got to speak up, man. If I hear you guys, I'll know what's going on. Ooh, easier said than done. You gentlemen ready? Ay, cabrón. I burnt the shit out of my fingers right there. I think we got it. Let's let it cool down a little bit. It's on. It's not going anywhere. So there you go, guys. You can see our cab starting to come to life with the techniques I'm more than happy to share with you guys. Techniques I have honed doing this since I started dabbling with trains once I became adult and started working, started getting my first paycheck around 18 or 19 years old. That was back around 87, 88, 89. And here we are in the year 2023. My whole house was remodeled and made more modern looking with the money I made doing this. Didn't take out a single loan, and it was all done. All the work was, other than the roof, which was done by a buddy of mine, everything was done by me. So like I said, we're all little Mike Rose. You know what, man? I could talk and hang out with each one of you guys and gals that just loves to work with their hands to my last dying day on planet Earth. We speak our own language. We like the same things. It's, to exaggerate a little bit, we could take care of business just with a handshake. You guys are awesome. I'll shoot a little quick part 3. Let me see here. Let me see if I can think there's anything else I can share with you guys. Anyways, we kept it short for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw, what I was able to show on video. And here, let's bring it up to the camera. But there you go. So that's how we'll attach all the other steam appliances. The seats, the shaker bars, we're not going to be able to install them up here as per the photograph. There's not enough room. Bill's locomotive, for whatever reason, has a step in there, as you can see, where the real one is just flat all the way across. We'll install those shaker bars down here. It's not in the correct position anyways, but no one's going to be able to tell. And those shaker bars are used to clean out the ash pans whenever the ash cinders and stuff starts to build up. And the fireman's got to get a nice clean fire going. So there you go. If there's something you guys want to see or something you'd like for me to show you regarding any of this stuff here, just please shoot me a comment down below in the comment section. I talked last night about how we shoot. I edited these videos, but on my YouTube channel, and those who follow it know what I'm talking about, I shoot these things called crash and burn. And basically what it is we'll experiment like we did right here. The chances of it getting screwed up on camera are high. It's an experiment or an idea or a test. But we film it. Why do it at night by myself off camera and then only show you the results on camera the next day if it works? And if it doesn't work, don't even say, oh, it didn't work out. So we do that here. We get a big laugh out of that. We get a kick out of that. This kind of should have been a crash and burn, but I was 100% confident here. But another thing we do here is, I lost my train of thought. If one of you viewers, one of the YouTube viewers, you don't even have to subscribe to my channel. If there's a process here, a question you have, and I've done this in the past before. I've done it for, the one that comes to mind is William Feather. I shot him his own video. I'll shoot you your own video. We'll post it here, dedicated to your question and how I go about solving that. And it's a good detailed video like the rest of them. Anyone can watch it, but it'll be my response to you on something that you'd like to see if I can help you out with that. Not just me. You go on YouTube, if you're a modeler, you go on anybody's modeling YouTube channels, ask any question and stuff. All these gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, will drop what they're doing eventually and get back to you with an answer. What an amazing, there was no YouTube when I started out modeling, but you had to write a letter to a magazine and hope they published your response so you could see the answer. But yeah, there's another thing right there. And Robert from BNR will testify to this. Back when we started modeling and model railroading, there was a thing called magazines. And you got your O-Scale magazine every other month. You got your model railroader every month. You got your mainline modeler from Robert Hunman. Amazing magazine. Also was bi-quarterly or something like that. But anyways, you guys with the YouTube and the internet and all that stuff, man, there's nothing on this planet that could hold you guys back as to what you can do right now with your hands. Talking about Mike Rowe and all that good stuff, right? Wow, what an amazing time. Do you see what Elon Musk is doing with SpaceX as I film this right now? As I film this for you guys right now. Do you see what Elon Musk is doing? Well, he came, just to share something with you guys, he came knocking on my door here about 2 weeks ago. And he was, hey man, can I ask you, I seen you on YouTube. Hey, can I ask you, Mr. Florentino Rebuilding Company, can I ask you a question? I go, sure, Elon, what's going on, man? I didn't let him in the house because I didn't trust him. But he said, hey man, I don't know what to do. Do I go with what's that, Starship 1 or move on to Starship 2? I go, Elon, Starship 2, it's time. He goes, man, Florentino Rebuilding Company, but I've built a few Starship 1s already, and I've invested millions of dollars in that. I go, Elon, doesn't matter, man. Shit can those. Time for Starship 2. And you saw it. He made the change. So I'm gonna take credit for that. Thank you for joining me on my videos. I might shoot a part 3 if I see something necessary here. But basically what you see right there in front of you on your screen right now is what we did together. This wonderful, wonderful December, I want to say 10th, 2023, beautiful Sunday, middle of the day out here on your outpost on the West Coast. You all take care. Have an awesome, awesome weekend. Bye.